WVU Coliseum. It's the Mountaineers, and the Mountaineers college basketball is back as we welcome you inside the WVU Coliseum. Welcome in, everybody. Andrew Critty joined alongside by Warren Baker. All of this excitement, Bake, for this West Virginia team. There's only one way, and that is up with the Hall of Famer head coach Bob Huggins.
Well, yeah, a lot of new faces, but it's good to have that presence on the court with Bob Huggins and his experience.
And a challenge for Mount St. Mary's. They're in a new conference this year, but they love that challenge to begin. Let's meet the head coaches here. We'll start with Dan Engelstad, the head coach for this Mount St. Mary's team. In his fourth season, he is 46-70. Overall, as a head coach, though, 150 and 104, set an all-time leader in assist record with St. Mary's College in Maryland, the former Seahawks. So he's a player coach, and he knows what needs to be done as his Mountaineers travel to Bob Huggins' Mountaineer group. The Hall of Famer, you played with him, Bake, means so much for him to get in, and 9 new faces for him.
Yeah, well, it was way overdue. But again, like I said, 9 new faces. If someone that can handle that, it would be Bob.
We are ready to get going here as we'll get you starting lineups for Mount St. Mary's. They're in the navy and gold. They couldn't have different colors even, Bake. They're the same colors and the same mascot. Dakota LaFew, DeAndre Thomas, Jalen Benjamin, who scored in double figures in 20 games last season, will lead the way. George Tinsley makes his Mount St. Mary's debut, and Malik Jefferson is starting career game number 111, all with the same team. Starting lineup for West Virginia looks like that. There is the grad transfer, Eric Stevenson, all the way from South Carolina. Will get his first start as a West Virginia Mountaineer, and along with him, Emmett Matthews. Matthews returns to Morgantown after 1 season spent at Washington to go along with Keedy Johnson, who returns for year number 5. Jimmy Bell, a community college transfer, and how about this for West Virginia? Trey Mitchell will also be in action tonight as Kobe Johnson is the 5th Mountaineer out here.
Well, yeah, everybody's been waiting to see Trey. You know, he hasn't had a chance to play that this year, so this should be interesting to see how he comes out.
West Virginia wins the tip. This is Keedy Johnson getting things started for the Mountaineers. Eric Stevenson goes into the corner for Kobe Johnson. As a new look West Virginia team shows up big. We were talking about it at the beginning of the season last year. West Virginia had a lot to build off of as Keedy Johnson is called for the offensive foul. It is drawn by Jalen Benjamin, but even more so this year, West Virginia has to find a new identity.
Only 9 points returning out of the guys they have coming back. So they have got a lot of scoring to fill in here.
West Virginia pressing right off the bat as the Mountaineers trying to establish a tone early. This is Dakota LaFew, the 6'5 junior from Hampton, Georgia, watched by Eric Stevenson of the Mountaineers.
West Virginia in their familiar man-to-man, and look for both teams to play man-to-man. Mount St. Mary's plays about 98% man, so one-on-one basketball a lot.
Yeah, half court to begin this game, and a out of bounds forced by West Virginia. The double coming from Jimmy Bell of the Mountaineers, who, believe it or not, as big as he looks right now, dropped 75 pounds before the beginning of the season. So you can imagine the size of that lad.
Yeah, I think he was about 350 when he showed up on campus. They've trimmed him down a little bit.
Yep, got the D1 preparation, has him ready to go. Chance now for Mount St. Mary's. The jumper missed by LaFew, rebounded by Emmett Matthews. First game back in Morgantown. Emmett drives, kicks, Stevenson. Good look from 3, no good. Rebound Matthews underneath. Kobe Johnson, easy 2.
Two good plays by Matthews early on. Rebound and then an assist.
And the confetti comes down in Morgantown. LaFew guarded there by Keedy Johnson. LaFew again from Benjamin into the middle. Jefferson, high percentage shot, couldn't hook that one on, rebounded by Bell. Here come the Mountaineers. Matthews looked inside for Bell, deflected by Tinsley. Back come the Mountaineers, and a contested shot at the basket, defended well, and Stevenson fouls the much smaller 5'10" Jalen Benjamin. He'll shoot 2.
Emmett Matthews had Jimmy Bell going down the middle. The defense got a hand on the ball and stole it, but he had him open. For Eric Stevens, that certainly wasn't a cheap foul.
No, not at all. It's one of those fouls where you make sure the guy's not going to get the bucket.
He's not going to get the ball up there. You'll have to earn it at the stripe.
Well, Eric Stevenson looked so good for West Virginia in the charity exhibition against Bowling Green, certainly playing with a lot of energy as the first free throw missed by Jalen Benjamin. Third team preseason All NAAC, that's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. More on Benjamin. The second team NEC last season, where Mount St. Mary's spent their conference year. It's his second season with Mount St. Mary's, and he misses both. And the student section loves it, Bake.
Yes. Coach Ingolstadt said had they stayed in the NEC, he probably would have been the player of the year, Benjamin.
Yep. Probably would have been picked to finish to win the NEC if they would have stayed in that conference. But down low, along with West Virginia in the preseason poll in their new conference. Jimmy Bell, nice spin move baseline, defended well by Tinsley, but he stepped out of bounds. Good defense from 24 in blue.
Yeah, it was. Tinsley did a good job. Bell really wanted to try to get that. I want to see Bell do that. We didn't get to see him do that in the exhibition, get the ball down low and score. They're going to need something out of him low.
West Virginia will press right off the bat here. Benjamin gets the inbound. Matched up with Keedy Johnson. That's going to be a fun battle.
Yes,
Dave.
it is.
Head coach Bob Huggins calls Keedy Johnson the most underrated defender in the Big 12, and he forces a turnover there. Picked up by Matthews. Emmett to the basket, finds space. Contested shot, no good. And it's last touched by Jimmy Bell. He was battling down there with František Bartone. 6-7 out of the Czech Republic as we're getting started here. About 2 and change into this one. Bake, let's get your keys to the game.
Keys to the game for Mount St. Mary's, lean on the experience. They got a very, very veteran club here, and they need to get Benjamin going early. Thus far, Keedy Johnson has done a good job on them, but this guy can really score the ball.
And for West Virginia?
West Virginia, work on the recipes. In other words, different guys that are in there, how are they going to play together? And then ball security. West Virginia had 20 turnovers against Bowling Green. Defense process a turnover right there, but that's key for West Virginia. Take care of the ball.
Eric Stevenson gets on the board here for the Mountaineers. 4-0 West Virginia. Triple to answer. Too short. Here's Emmett Matthews again underneath, grabbing the board.
Boy, Mount St. Mary's really struggling to get a ball to go down.
Keedy Johnson. Deep corner to Emmett Matthews. We'll get more on him later in his return to Morgantown. Grew up 40 minutes away from Eric Stevenson, the guy with the balls. He finds Johnson up high, has space to shoot. Bell goes up for it, and he's going to be called for the over the
Jimmy
back.
Bell over the back, good box out.
That'll be his first personal. Third team foul already for West Virginia, Bake.
Yeah, well, you know, Huggs has a lot of guys he's going to play. So, yeah, I don't think foul trouble right off the bat is going to concern him because he's going to see what these guys can do anyway, so.
Yep, he'll get an early big. Huggins usually with a team that rolls deep, and the change he makes is Mohamed Wagee, 6'10", 225 sophomore out of the Bronx, New York. Also a change for Mount St. Mary's as Xavier Lipscomb will check in. Benjamin, short floater, tip back towards the rim. Still battled for and missed again by Malik Jefferson. But West Virginia throws it away.
All right, Eric Stevenson looking up the floor for Kobe Johnson. Kobe not aware that the pass was coming out of bounds.
This will be an inbound for Mount St. Mary's. Finished last season 14-18. Opened up the year with Villanova on the road.
Boy, West Virginia really needs to take advantage of the poor shooting by Mount St. Mary's.
That's 4-0 West Virginia. LeFew, that's a tough two, and he sinks it.
Yeah, it is. Well, sooner or later, they're going to drop one.
So one-score game here in Morgantown. Matthews to the corner for Kobe Johnson. Stevenson from Tacoma to Lacey to Mohamed Wagee, the Bronx. Wagee scores. 6-2.
That young man has a lot of potential. Huck just said he really doesn't know how to play yet, but they've been working a lot with him, and they can see that was a nice little left-handed shot.
Yep, got a pro body type, got pro athleticism. It's really been a half-court game, though, Bake, early. Not much in transition. Bartone into the corner for Lipscomb. Xavier Lipscomb, 6'2" junior from DC. Benjamin, match there on McGee. He will get the kick. And that'll send us to our first break. It's West Virginia 6, Mount St. Mary's 2, 15-13 to play here in our first half in Morgantown. You're watching Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Welcome back inside the WVU Coliseum. Andrew Caridi joined alongside by Warren Baker, and the third member of our broadcast team is Amanda Mazey. Amanda, what you got for us?
Well, it's a new year, it's a new team, and it's a new identity. But one thing that doesn't change is the expectations of Bob Huggins. So I asked him, what do you want this year's identity of your team to be? And he said, it's really simple, 3 things. He wants his team to play really, really hard, be really competitive on the glass, and share the ball. And he said he's been really happy how they've done all 3 of those things in the preseason, but now when it counts the most, he needs his guys to give the most to this team. Andrew?
Thank you. And here are the newcomers for West Virginia, in a way, because Emmett Matthews played 3 seasons here. But look at that, Jimmy Bell, Josiah Davis, Josiah Harris, the list goes on. Trey Mitchell, who has some experience at Texas, we'll expect to see him today. Joe Toussaint, the Iowa transfer, so a lot of experience, but they're new nonetheless, and it all takes a lot of time to gel.
Again, that's those recipes, getting the guys together that are going to play well together.
Open chance here for Mount St. Mary's. And Lipscomb able to make this a 1-point game. 6-5 West Virginia, and here is Joe Toussaint seeing his first action for the Mountaineers. Really familiar in this West Virginia system. Didn't take him that long to get adjusted to feel comfortable, and Stevenson is going to be called for a quick second personal foul.
Frustration foul.
Yep.
He got stripped at half court and trying to recover and picks up another foul. He's going to have to come out of the ball game.
Yep, he'll take an early seat here, and that's the energy that Eric Stevenson brings. But you got to keep yourself composed. He just is so passionate for basketball. There's no other way to say it. So West Virginia will bring in Josiah Harris and Seth Wilson as we begin this second frame here from Morgantown. Toussaint, former Hawkeye, looks inside, goes outside instead for Emmett Matthews. Toussaint rises high. Got speed there against Tinsley if he wants it. Step back. McGee fighting for the rebound. Tough work underneath from Mount St. Mary's. No whistle yet, and finally we do get one. And McGee, another guy that plays with a certain enthusiasm.
Right in the middle of things. That's what you like to see, a big guy get down on the floor like that. You know, he's got the frame to put on a lot more weight too. I don't know how much more Bob wants on him, but at 6'11", he could put on another 15, 20 pounds without a problem.
So the ball will stay actually in the hands of the Mountaineers. I can save myself there. It's Mount St. Mary's possession. So you love that energy early for both of these teams, as Mount St. Mary's will get the ball into the hands of Dakota LeFew in his junior season. Expected to make a big jump. Sophomore to junior, Bake, would you say is the biggest jump in expectation?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Going to a new league like that, they're expecting a lot out of him.
Matthews on the switch, opens things up for Tinsley. Three-pointer good for Mount. 8-6.
Tinsley's a good catch-and-shoot guy. The Mountaineers doubled away from him, left him open. He made them pay.
First season with Mount St. Mary's was a Binghamton transfer, so this is his first game ever with the visiting Mountaineers. Emmett Matthews, McGee. Toussaint going to pull up, and it gets a good bounce. Count it. And Joe going to be called for a foul. 15th foul against West Virginia already.
That's the kind of foul Hutz hates to see. Joe just made a nice shot there, and then just a little over-aggressive. 94 feet from the basket to commit a foul. No, that's not what you want.
Head coach Dan Engelstead has to like, I'm sure, the first 6 minutes and change. His team is all knotted up. But again, this is a Mount St. Mary's team. They visited number 4 Villanova to open the year last year. Lost that game 91-51. And then 3 games later took on number 13 Kentucky in Lexington. Lost 80-55. There were a long-range bomb missed by Mount St. Mary's, rebounded by Josiah Harris for West Virginia. Joe Toussaint, quick on his feet. Almost too quick. Seth Wilson to Toussaint from Harris, and a whistle and a foul call. That'll be the first against Mount St. Mary's, and they will get Jalen Benjamin.
I really like Joe Toussaint's attitude about everything. I mean, he says, I'm a play, I can fit in, I know what needs to be done. You know, playing in the Big Ten for 3 years, coming from Iowa. Yeah, he's been around the road, around the ropes too.
Feels more comfortable in this system than he did at Iowa. Just kind of said that he outgrew it, outgrew the coaching staff. Not a bad thing necessarily, and transfer portal friendly to guys like that. Here is Toussaint again from the foul line. Good look, good putback attempt there by Harris, but he couldn't get it to fall. And it's last touched by Harris. Possession, Mount St. Mary's. So, Bake, this is kind of expected, I think, for the most part. You're kind of feeling out everything when they start to matter.
Well, and, defenses, for the most part, are going to be a little ahead of the offenses this time of year. And both teams are playing good, aggressive defense early on.
Yeah, the non-negotiables for any successful program have to be effort, intensity, willingness to put your nose in there. Lipscomb traveled.
Yep.
At 12:35 to go in our first half.
Mo McGee with another nice defensive play from a big post player, getting over and causing that travel.
Some more non-negotiables for head coach Dan Engelstad. Transition defense, ball pressure. Never wants to see his team backpedal, and also really wants to be competitive on the rebounding front. And for now, Bake, 8-7, West Virginia just +1.
Yeah, he was very concerned about the rebounding. Didn't know how, with West Virginia being as physical as they are.
Matthews no good. Mo McGee there to follow it up. And turnover-wise, too, Bake, 5-4. West Virginia has committed one more turnover than Mount St. Mary's.
As we said, they had 20 in the scrimmage against Bowling Green, and that's not what you want to see. That number has to come down. Yeah,
focus on West Virginia's preparation was getting a supremely positive turnover margin. Malik Jefferson, 4 on the shot clock. Gets the return pass and scores it. 10-10.
Boy, good two-man game there. Jefferson already graduated in grad school, very intelligent player. Coach Engelstad really likes that kid.
All-time leading rebounder in Mount St. Mary's Division I history. Mount St. Mary's was a D2 team. Got to go back to about, well, I mean, they've been here for 2 decades plus. Harris, no good. McGee, another offensive board for West Virginia. Too easy that time. And we got a whistle. And a time called. It'll be Mount St. Mary's keeping it tight here. The Mountaineers tied with one another, 10-10. Back after this from Morgantown on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
Well, rarely in coaching do you get to have a player on your own team that actually beat you when they were on another team. Jalen Benjamin returns as the Mountaineers' leading scorer, but before he was a Mountaineer, he was a Blazer with UAB, and back in 2019, he scored the go-ahead 3 to lead UAB to a 58-51 win over Engelstad's club. Now, when Jalen hit the transfer portal, Coach says he couldn't resist offering him a spot, even though he says he was still pretty angry at that shot. Of course, he's kidding. But actually, I don't think he was kidding when he told me that. But hey, you know what? No matter what happens now, he is just so glad to have Benjamin on his bench making some big shots for the Mount. Andrew?
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, I don't know if these coaches would let things like that go for the most part. Yeah, they go over. He's got to hit a game-winning shot against somebody else.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, 5'10", 160 senior from Raleigh, North Carolina, so definitely not the D1 build you would think, but that really just speaks to his skill set and agility, among other things.
Well, he's been held scoreless thus far, but don't think that he can't get going. Once he gets on a roll, he can really light it up.
Yeah, double figures in many, many games last year, 20+ for this Mount St. Mary's team that is keeping things close here with West Virginia. Trey Mitchell into the game for the first time for West Virginia, the Texas transfer. You see limited action here. Still trying to get 100% healthy, and a shot clock violation against the Mountaineers early. They did not start that possession with a full shot clock, Big.
No, and that your point guard has to see that.
Yep.
You know, that's your quarterback on the court, and Joe just kind of lost track of time coming out of the timeout. But yeah, he's got to be able to recognize that.
LeFew for Mount St. Mary's, nearing the halfway mark here. Good tip by Mo McGee, who might be West Virginia's best player up to this point.
Right at this point, yes. I talked to Trey Mitchell today earlier, and I said, Trey, how are you right now? What, you know, you're 75%? He said, nah, I'm about 85. He said, my conditioning is the thing that's really going to hold me back at this point.
Yeah, that's tough. Tough to get fully healthy. UMass, and then Texas, and now West Virginia. Bartone left it short. Rebound Toussaint. Has one on his back. That's the recent entry. Jalen Gibson for Mount St. Mary's. Mitchell will open up things for Seth Wilson. Mitchell going to pull up, knock it down.
Boy, got to feel good. Had that first three go down.
Yep, he likes that.
No action, you know, prior to coming into the game today because of that injury.
Mount St. Mary's before the break was 4 of their last 5 from the field. They've missed their last 2 shots. West Virginia getting after it. Going to be another jump ball situation as Josiah Harris getting locked up there with Jalen Gibson, the 6'4" sophomore from Evanston, Illinois.
West Virginia.
Our officials in this game, Gary Maxwell, Tyler Kump, Steve Devine. Also their first game.
Oh, yeah.
Number 12, J.D. Cordelia.
J.D. Cordelia has come into the game for Mount St. Mary's from the Netherlands, 6'9", 210-pound sophomore. Played 24 games as a freshman. Here is Toussaint looking to orchestrate the offense here for West Virginia. Toussaint.
Yep.
And it's sent the
Good
other way.
call.
Woogie on the offensive
Mo
foul.
McGee with that extended arm. I think he had pretty good position for a screen there. But watch the chicken wing come out right here. Yep, shoved him.
That's a tight end block, Bake. Jalen Benjamin back in the game. František Bartone. Let's switch there. LeFew. Gibson. Missed strong. Bartone strong. Swatted by Mitchell, but a foul called late. I think that was on the following opportunity. 2 free throws coming up for Mount St. Mary's at the 9:22 mark. Here in the first
Hud's
half.
not happy at all about that call.
Bartone, in his 3rd season as a bench player, playing in his 52nd career game, is the glue guy. He's reliable, good fundamentals, but misses the first free throw. And not the numbers that you want from that position. I spoke too soon, 30%. I know there's a promo with Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
I wish I knew what it was exactly, but all right, that's another miss for Mount St. Mary's. And the Mount now 0 for 4 from the free throw line, so leaving some points on the board here early. 3-point game. Create enough of a difference to take the lead. Look at Toussaint's handles. Mitchell with 13 on the shot clock. Spots up. Harris, whistle, hold underneath. And it'll be against Mount St. Mary's.
Mount St. Mary's ball called number 12, J.D.
Cordelia
Cordelia
grabbed Mo McGee inside. And McGee getting a very deserved rest.
Yep. Put in a good shift. Nice battle between 2 long boys. And we got Jimmy Bell coming back into the game for West Virginia. So he's fresh. And again, this is a West Virginia team playing it without Eric Stevenson, who will see much of the floor on a regular basis, but he got 2 personal fouls early. So that's a lack of West Virginia's leading scorer. along with Emmett Matthews in that charity exhibition. 3 on the shot clock. Toussaint has to get one up. Seth Wilson at the buzzer, no good. Harris comes flying through to grab the rebound, but can't secure it. Cordelia surrounded and protects it well.
Boy, Josiah Harris was up on that. It's a shame he couldn't corral it because he did a good job.
And a floater, no good. Jimmy Bell gets away with one there. The body contact against Jalen Gibson, but went straight up. Toussaint goes to the basket, can't finish. And taken away by Seth Wilson. Wilson swings it to Bell. Toussaint, Josiah Harris, in and out.
You can look at Josiah Harris. That shot didn't go down, but you can look at his form and tell that he can really shoot the ball. Hugs likes this young man.
Yep, 6'7" freshman from Canton, Ohio. Cordelia. LeFew. Bell comes to help. Mountaineers playing tight. 6 on the shot clock. Whistle, going to keep it here.
Yep, I think they got Trey Mitchell with a push inside.
Baskets hard to come by in the last couple of minutes. West Virginia 2 minutes without one. Mount St. Mary's almost 4. 7:41 to go. Mountaineers, West Virginia by 3 on ESPN+. West Virginia 10, Mount St. Mary's, well, let's get that again. West Virginia 13, Mount St. Mary's 10. We've been living under a rock for the past couple of months. A special past couple of months for that guy, head coach Bob Huggins. Finally inducted into rarefied air. Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. We'll have a full look at that during our halftime show. That means a lot to him, means a lot to everybody in West Virginia, Bake.
It certainly does. And as you said, way, way, way overdue. I'm just glad they finally got it right. And I know Hugs, he won't tell you that, but it means a ton to him. It really does, and I'm just so happy for him.
Yeah, and he's said that it has finally sunk in.
Sunk in, yes.
Yeah, it's been long enough, I guess, and he's definitely put his time in, let's say that. First free throw made by Malik Jefferson, the first free throw made all game for Mount St. Mary's Bay.
Yeah, well, if you told Daniel Ingolstadt that your leading scorer would be scoreless at this point, and you were over from the free throw line until just now, and you're only down 3 points, would you take it? I'd say he'd say, yes, I would. I want my guy to score some, but we're still right there without our big guy, really, our big gun really scoring.
Yeah, numbers-wise for both of these teams could see some improvement in the shooting category. West Virginia 33%, Mount St. Mary's at 24. Seth Wilson matched with Dakota LeFew. Gets by him, going to kick it to Toussaint. James Okonkwo into the game for the first time. He's occupying that near box. Gets the feed from Bell. Back from Okonkwo. Jimmy kicks it with 7 on the shot clock to Wilson. Tough 2. He makes it look good.
Seth Wilson has really, really been working on his shooting. I tease him all the time. I said, are you going to make one tonight? He says, yeah, I'm going to make it. If I get to shoot him, I'm going to make him.
Yeah, one of the few holdovers from last season after that mass exodus for West Virginia. Bell had a touch off of him last after he made a nice play, so it will stay with Mount St. Mary's. Game is happening fast, Bank. It really is.
Keedy Johnson checks back in for West Virginia.
Keedy Johnson will check back in for West Virginia. As Toussaint goes for a seat. Inbound to Tinsley. Nice pick from Keedy, but it stays with Mount St. Mary's. And the triple, no good. From DeAndre Thomas, the 6'5" senior from Inglewood, California.
West Virginia really fortunate. Mount St. Mary's had executed the inbounds play. Tinsley just couldn't get the ball. He had a layup if he could have controlled the ball.
No field goals in the last 6 attempts for Mount St. Mary's. Keedy Johnson rises up. Nice dish from Emmett Matthews.
Yes, it was. Excellent pass from Emmett.
West Virginia by 5. Tinsley, the handoff to LeFew. Look at Keedy staying right with him until then. Floater looking good. Not enough on it. Rebound, Emmett. Adrian Johnson. You'll find Matthews looking really calm here and just misses the reach of Jimmy Bell.
Well, Jimmy wanted to sit down in the post area, and Emmett just let him too much. sometimes you've got to give that post player time enough to really establish his position inside, and that's what Bell was trying to do. Emmett just let him too much and too quick.
6:07 to go here in our first half of action. I think it all does come back, you know, a lot of different matchups, a lot of different combinations of players to use, so that stuff's going to get worked out. Tendencies, trends.
Exactly.
Thomas Jefferson traveled. No field goals in the last 6 minutes for Mount St. Mary's. West Virginia has upped its shooting percentage to 40%. As we're ready to see Emmett Matthews and Keedy Johnson start things back up as Tinsley goes for a seat. Bartone from the Czech Republic is back in there. And a matchup with Okonkwo. Mountaineers will look to run a set out of this inbound. Matthews got loose. Okonkwo looking to feed Bell. Have to do something with it. Shot clock at 10. Matthews against DeAndre Thomas. Nice feed. James Okonkwo. Good. That bucket all the way from Maidenhead, England.
And give Emmett Matthews another assist. That was a nice play. He set that whole thing up by driving baseline. Defense collapsed. Okonkwo wide open.
Mountaineers by 7, largest lead in the game.
And West Virginia staying with that pressure defense.
6-0 run for West Virginia. Underneath Bartone. Short. And a foul to send it the other way. An offensive foul against Mount St. Mary's at the 5:04 mark here in half number 1.
One of the problems Mount St. Mary's is having right now is that when they get the ball inside, they're rushing shots. I don't know if they're intimidated by somebody maybe blocking it, but they are rushing shots, and therefore they're missing a ton of those little simple shots that should go down.
Would you say it's a size thing, Bake? Because West Virginia matches up, I think, a little larger.
Yes.
Keedy Johnson quickly over the timeline. Okonkwo. Matthews got free. No good, and a foul on Jefferson going to keep it here. Takes a lot of force to move Jimmy Bell out of the way, but he did it that time.
Bell had good offside position, and the only way that Jefferson was going to move had been shoving.
It'll be his first personal. Team 4th foul on Mount St. Mary's. West Virginia has already racked up 8 against themselves. But for the most part, have been pretty good in the second half of this first half, foul-wise. Off the inbound, Seth Wilson.
Seth Wilson is one of those people who thought could take a Taz Sherman or a Sean McNeil's place shooting the ball from the perimeter.
And we'll use that with a grain of salt. Obviously, can't match the contributions from Taz last year in a year, but he's got the skill set to do it.
Yes, he does.
Benjamin falling forward. Strong rebound from Tonka.
Tonka. I told him before the game I wanted 8 rebounds. He said, I'll get them. He's still a few shy of that, but we'll see.
That's Jimmy Bell after the Tonka truck. Oh, he almost had it there. Takes a couple of bounces. Keedy Johnson from way downtown. Bell fighting, controlling, knocked loose.
We're fortunate he didn't get an over the back call, but he'll take that. That's the way he's got to go at it, too.
Final break to take in our first half. It is West Virginia on a bit of a run. Mountaineers 21, Mount St. Mary's 12. You're watching West Virginia and Mount St. Mary's on ESPN+.
All right, welcome back to the Coliseum. West Virginia with a 21-12 lead over Mount St. Mary's. All right, we'll talk about patience. That's definitely how you can describe WVU's newest assistant coach, Josh Eilert. But let it be known, he is not new to WVU. He's been here for 15 years, started out as a video coordinator and worked his way up to his first full-time assistant job. He played at Kansas State and was a grad assistant under Huggs in 06 and 07. And when Huggs came here, well, so did Josh. He told me his loyal loyalty to Huggins kept him here so long, and raising his 3 kids with wife Brandy, he just loves the family atmosphere. You know, and not many people would wait 15 years for this opportunity, but you know what, guys? As the old saying goes, good things come to those who wait, and not many people want to wait 15 years in this day and age to get their first coaching job.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Amanda. Bake, you know, we have Eric Martin move on to South Carolina State, so things opened up for Josh Eilert, but again, coaching position is not all glamorous all the time, if ever, really. I mean, it is a grind.
It is a grind. But, you know, the one thing that can never be questioned about Hugs is loyalty. His guys get with him, and he takes care of them. As long as you do your job, you've got a job above.
West Virginia 21, Mount St. Mary's 12. Host Mountaineers will make a switch. Mohamed Waqi, but a nice first shift, will come back into the game to replace Jimmy Bell, who gets a talking to from Coach Hugs on his way back.
Well, I like the aggression that we saw out of Jimmy Bell this last time out on the court for him.
Let's see if Mount St. Mary's can put anything together. Victim of an 8-0 run before the break. Off the glass, shots just not falling for the visiting Mountaineers. Keedy Johnson slipped. Oh, and they get him for a foul. And we'll get Jalen Gibson, the 6'4 sophomore.
Mount St. Mary's foul number 3, Jalen Gibson.
Oh, let's see here. Was there contact?
Yeah,
there was enough contact.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised, but seeing it again, yeah. Just enough to throw him off balance. 3:18 to go, first half. West Virginia with Emmett Matthews, Keedy Johnson, Seth Wilson, James Okonkwo, and Mohamed Waqi out here. First combination of this 5. Seth Wilson gonna pull up. Oh, it falls in, and Coach Engelstad does not like that. That's a rare bounce for a
That is a rare bounce. But good shooters will get those type of bounces.
Mount St. Mary's need an answer here. Makeable too, ends up an air ball from LeFew. Emmett Matthews. Seth Wilson again, short. Okonkwo, nice tip to Emmett Matthews, who's going to take it himself and score.
Okonkwo won't get an assist on that because Emmett caught him dribble. I think they ought to give a guy an assist in a situation like that.
A 13-0 run for West Virginia as the whistle blows with 2:24 to go in our first half. That was all effort on that last position for West Virginia.
Yeah. Okonkwo, Huck says he's probably the most athletic guy on this ball club. And then Emmett finally gets one to go down.
See the confidence from Seth Wilson to take it, and Okonkwo doing a nice job of reacting.
Yeah, exactly. I still think he should get an assist on that. I don't know.
I'll put a word in for
What do I know?
So how about this for West Virginia, now shooting 43% in this game, but for Mount St. Mary's, a little brutal. Bake, they are 4 of 23 shooting.
Jalen Benjamin, their leading scorer, 0 for 2. So West Virginia really doing a job on him.
Some more stats. West Virginia has turned the ball over more times, 10 to Mount St. Mary's 7, but that rebounding margin, Bake, that we talked about might have an impact on this. How about West Virginia doubling up Mount St. Mary's 25 to 12 already? Yep. 2:24 to go as we get things started again. Benjamin finds Jefferson wide open. DeAndre Thomas lost it, picked up by Okonkwo. And smacked Keedy in the face, who recovers quickly. Seth Wilson. Mountaineers gaining in confidence, gaining in flow. Waqi opens up, fouled by Jefferson.
Yep. Now that pass from Johnson just now into Waqi, that's what you like. Let that post player get set up down low. Had Jefferson pinned on his back. Not a good foul by Jefferson. He's got to try to get it out in front. And if you can't, you back off but you don't want to reach and foul.
That'll be his second personal, team 8th, or team 7th rather. And Mohamed Wagee heads to the free throw line. First of a 1-and-1, no good. Rebounded by Okonkwo. Tipped by Wagee again. Loose underneath. Mohamed Wagee.
Just effort. Okonkwo and Wagee are just absolutely giving it all types of effort here.
You'll be a fan favorite quickly if you keep doing that. Benjamin needs one here from Mount St. Mary's and gets one. Tough
Finally.
shot.
Three-point basket by Benjamin.
And again, don't go to sleep on a guy like that. I've seen great shooters hit one, and then it's on.
Finally an answer to a 15-0 run for West Virginia. Wilson peeling off these screens well. Might find a pass off one of those soon underneath. All the way to the basket, Keedy Johnson fouled.
Mount St. Mary's really late getting over for help defense.
And it'll be a shooting foul regardless. It's just whether he gets 2 or not. First on LeFew.
At the line for West Virginia, Keedy Johnson, 2 shots.
And he'll get 2 shots, so call that a continuation. West Virginia ready to get Josiah Harris back in the game. Keedy Johnson sinks the first free throw. 75% free throw shooter last season. As Harris enters, we've been looking for Eric Stevenson. He's been in foul trouble. 2 against him early in the first half. Keedy in this game, 3 points. Mountaineers get 7 from Wilson. And he sinks it again.
Well, Keedy said he was going to try to shut Benjamin down, and thus far, he has done a good job along with Toussaint in limiting his touches.
You know, we asked Coach Huggs in a yes or no segment on his radio show, is Keedy Johnson the most underrated defender in the Big 12? He said yes. Here's Benjamin. Under a minute to go, first half. Mountaineers, the hosts, by 15. Bartone. Thomas. Double team comes. Bartone keeps it alive. Tinsley gets a perfect look. Can't convert. Wagee fights for the rebound and tipped out by Bartone. 12-second differential between game clock and shot clock here.
How active has Wagee been?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yep. And we get a whistle and a timeout called
Taken by West Virginia.
by West Virginia. So 30 seconds, and in that time, we'll show you West Virginia's Seth Wilson feeling confident. Could be a score for West Virginia. He has 7 points and is 3 for 7 shooting, Bake.
Yeah, he comes in ready to fire it up. He shot a lot of shots today and said he was really feeling good about his shot, and I can see why now.
Now with Coach Huggins, was expecting a lot from him on the offensive side. You go back to last season, you asked what freshman would do what and what freshman might make the most impact, and he was the most high on Seth Wilson.
Yeah, he was. Yep, he said he's one of those guys that really, really loves the game and comes out and puts the work in.
Seth Wilson played in 20 games last season, averaged only 7 minutes per appearance, so not a whole lot, but West Virginia's strength in that guard position explains that, but you know what better way to do it now? Get a brand new slate as he's continuing to get words of advice, nicest way possible, from Coach Huggs. All right, back after it. West Virginia will save some time here. Keedy Johnson getting the inbound from Josiah Harris. Wilson. Oh, well, Wagee called for the offensive foul real quick.
Well, you know, yeah, that was an offensive foul. Part of that is Seth Wilson's fault. He's got to let him get set. He can't start his dribble before that post player gets up there and gets set. Because if he's moving at all, that official is going to call the foul on Wagee for moving. So Seth's got to be a little more patient.
Yeah, Hugs thought it was a little soft, but what's new? 6-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Tinsley for Mount St. Mary's. Oh, Benjamin had that cut if he wanted it. There it is. Thomas for three. In and out, rebound Bartone. Put back too strong. Tinsley can't get it. 13 seconds to go.
See, Bartone just rushed that shot too.
Another kick, another wide open look for Thomas, and he makes West Virginia pay. 30-18, 2 seconds to go. Matthews short on the bank, and that'll do it for half number one. West Virginia by 12. The host Mountaineers with 30. Mount St. Mary's with 18. Strong shooting performance for West Virginia in the latter half of that first half as West Virginia finishes 43% from the field, 13 of 31. Meanwhile, Mount St. Mary's struggling just 21% from the floor, but they made their last 3 field goals, and Amanda Mazey has head coach Bob Huggins.
All right, Coach, you end the first half on a 17-6 run. What was working for you defensively?
Well, we stopped running around and trying to double team, and we played a little more solid defensively.
Offensively, 9 of your 11 players have scored. It's been pretty even. You have 20 points off the bench. How important has it been for all of these guys to get in here and contribute?
Well, obviously it's important that we score. We throw the ball around too much. Our execution offensively hasn't been very good. You know, we didn't deal with their physicality very well.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it. Andrew?
Thank you, Amanda. When we come back for our halftime segment, more to come on the Hall of Famer Bob Huggins, along with some special accomplishments for West Virginia athletics. That all coming up soon. It's West Virginia 30, Mount St. Mary's 18. You're watching Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Welcome back to the WVU Coliseum. Getting ready for half number 2. It's West Virginia 30, Mount St. Mary's 18. Andrew Carudi joined alongside by Warren Baker and Bake. A 15-3 run for West Virginia to end that second half. Mount St. Mary's got a big bucket, but what are the changes that need to be made for both of these teams?
Well, for Mount St. Mary's, they need to relax more. The ball's been like a hot potato in their hands. You know, they got a ton of turnovers here. And West Virginia, just keep doing what you've been doing. The thing is, when Hugs makes some substitutions and switch, you can't have a lull. So I think that's the big thing. Consistency is what he's going to want.
Well, this one had the looks of a season opener, and let's bring him to you right now. In that first half for Mount St. Mary's, they started out with a lot of energy, but Bake, like you said, it was tough to get anything consistent. Maybe not the best plays being made, but West Virginia defense stood out extremely well. And what did West Virginia do well? Take opportunities away from Jalen Benjamin.
They did. Took Jalen Benjamin out of the ball game early. He finally hit a shot. You see that here. And but that guy can roll. They're only down 12 Mount St. Mary's, so, you know, it hasn't been great play for them, but if they pick it up a little bit, they can make a ball game out of it.
2 performers for West Virginia, Muhammad Wagee, Seth Wilson. How about Wagee getting after it? Great intensity.
Very intense. That's what you want to see, energy. That's what he was going to do, and then Seth Wilson came in like a little microwave off the bench. He hit some shots for them.
I like that. Got the build of a microwave, too. He's a stiff guy. So West Virginia getting some big contributions from those 2 guys, creating the 12-point lead. Official numbers for you. West Virginia, the rebounding battle has been all them, 28-14. They have doubled up on Mount St. Mary's. Turnover-wise for West Virginia, they've committed 11, and Mount St. Mary's just 8. And not much going on from deep for West Virginia either, just 2 threes.
Yeah, that's it. You know, haven't really had to shoot a lot of threes. They've been able to get the ball in close. Even the guards have been shooting shots in close when they get it.
And well, hopefully West Virginia is able to see more of Eric Stevenson in half number 2, along with Joe Toussaint. Mountaineers, I would probably say, first 2 guards in this lineup, as we see Eric Stevenson there. You know, into foul trouble early, they were probably in the most intense parts of the game.
Yeah, it was. And again, Eric had one that was just, it wasn't a real smart foul. It was a frustration thing to shove the guy. And Hugs will make you pay for something like that. Hey, sit down until you cool off and get back in the game like I want you to.
Mountaineers huddling up. We'll see their returning 5 for half number 2, and same goes for Mount St. Mary's. And we're glad you're with us on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. College basketball is back. We love it. And Bake, maybe the warmest opener in the history of Morgantown.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it wouldn't bother me if this continued for a while, you know.
I don't blame you. Up to 70 degrees. And let's toss it to Amanda Mazey with an update.
Well, I talked to Coach Dan Engelstead coming out of the locker room. I said, what did you like? What didn't you like in the first half? He said he really liked how they finished around the paint. They need to do a better job of that in the second half, but he liked that. He said he liked how they were getting back in transition, but he wants to see his guards help his bigs in the rebounding department. He said they did it early in the game, but they didn't do it late in the first half. He's very optimistic about where his team is, considering how that first half ended. Andrew?
Thank you, Amanda. I mean, that's an excellent point, right? When we saw West Virginia grabbing those offensive boards, it's because we had probably about 3 white uniforms to 2 blue, and with the size advantage West Virginia has, it's going to be the Mountaineers all the way.
That's exactly right. Yep.
All right, we are ready to go. West Virginia sends out Emmett Matthews, Keedy Johnson, Eric Stevenson, Kobe Johnson, and Jimmy Bell as the starting 5 for Mount St. Mary's. We've got Jalen Benjamin with the ball right now. Malik Jefferson challenged by Jimmy Bell. Also got DeAndre down there, George Tinsley, and a tip-in for Mount St. Mary's as Dakota LaFew rounds out the 5.
Jefferson with a good tip. Jimmy Bell had to go over to try to help defensively. That left Jefferson open to go inside.
Keedy Johnson finds Matthews. Stevenson going to send his defender. Opts to pass instead. Shot clock at 10 as Keedy drives. Keedy shoots. Can't get it to go. Rebound by DeAndre Thomas. And then to Jalen Benjamin. Can't get it to go. And swiped out of bounds by Eric Stevenson.
Well, Benjamin had a real good look just now. That's one that he would normally knock down.
Yeah. Jalen Benjamin is just 1 for 5 in this game. Inbound, Jefferson made tough by Bell. He grabs the board.
Jefferson with another rush shot inside.
Keedy Johnson. Double team backs off. Kobe Johnson working inside, lost it. All right, Big, we saw 1 half go in the books, but we'll revisit your keys to the game. What does Mount St. Mary's have to do?
Well, they lean on experience. They've got a bunch of experienced guys, so they're not going to fold. And Benjamin needed to get started early for them, which he didn't. But again, they're down 10, and this guy can light it up at any time.
And for the Mountaineers, have we seen them execute on their keys?
Well, work on the recipes. When I say recipes, the different parts that you're going to put together. And then ball security. West Virginia with 11 turnovers in the first half, which is more than Hugs would like to see. So they've got to take care of the ball.
This is DeAndre Thomas from Mount St. Mary's. Had some space along the baseline. Kicks it to Benjamin, waiting for him to get hot. Short rebound, Stevenson. In his Mountaineer debut. Hits. He's got 4 points.
Eric's one of those guys, too. Once he gets hot, he can really light it up.
Benjamin goes up against Bell. No call. Rebound, Stevenson. Has space to operate. Matthews, Keedy, Johnson, triple. Tough break for Mount St. Mary's. West Virginia makes it play.
And they want a timeout.
Yep.
Coach Engelstad was upset that there wasn't a foul called at the other end. And then West Virginia comes down and drops a 3 on them.
West Virginia up 15 to begin the second half here in Morgantown. It's the host Mountaineers 35, Mount St. Mary's 20 on ESPN+.
Sequence that forced that timeout. West Virginia coming up. Eric Stevenson coming back in after sitting a long time, knocking the shot down. And then you had a drive down at the other end where there wasn't a foul call. Keedy Johnson comes back, hits a 3, and that was enough for Coach Engelstad to call a timeout and say, you know what, we better stop this right now.
Yeah, big 5-point swing as West Virginia up 15. Mount St. Mary's made the first field goals in our second half, but I think that's a good timeout as we welcome you back into the WVU Coliseum to slow things down and really keep your team in this one.
Well, he knows how quick things can get out of shape if you don't stop a run.
Oh, Benjamin fouled by Keedy Johnson as he'll shoot 2. This is a Mount St. Mary's team that heads into new territory, the MAAC. check out the composition of their class. Mostly an experienced team, but you get 4 freshmen. As long as you can get them to stick around,
that's right.
You got them there.
But the 3 graduates and the 2 seniors, that's the core group of his team right there. He's just hoping to bring the other guys along.
But again, we were talking with Coach Engelstad and says the same stuff that might pull other players away from certain programs at a higher level, Power 5 level, not exactly as prominent in this one, or in his level rather. Both free throws made by Jalen Benjamin. He's got 5 points now. West Virginia, on the other hand, 9 different players scoring. 7 for Keedy Johnson and 7 for Seth Wilson. Keedy Johnson trying to find Bell. Good defense underneath. Shot clock at 9 for Kobe Johnson.
Boy, they're really trying to find Bell. Jefferson did a good job of defending Bell inside just now.
Oh, and slipped out of the hands of LeFew. Mount St. Mary's needed that.
Boy, that's the kind of turnover if you're Coach Engelstad. We just can't have those.
Poor Jimmy Bell ran all the way to the end of the floor.
He's been working hard to get position, and the Mountaineers were really looking for him just now. I hope they can find him. I want to see him be able to do something down low.
Looking for his first points. Almost 3 minutes into half number 2. Here's Jimmy. Shot clock at 10 for Stevenson. They keep looking for him. And an offensive foul called against Jimmy Bell underneath.
Well, that was a nice job. Yep, that's a good call. There was a shove off inside.
Well, that's West Virginia continuing to work on their recipes, Bake, trying to get different kind of looks.
Yeah. One part of that recipe that's not there yet is Jimmy Bell, and he's really struggling right now.
From Saginaw, Michigan, attended Moberly Community College last season, averaged 9 and 9. Bartone, LeFew for Mount St. Mary's. Trying to will their way back into this one. Thomas, that's a tough shot. Bell goes crashing in, and he's called for the foul.
Jimmy Bell called for the personal. That's his 3rd.
That'll be his 3rd.
Yeah. Well, really nobody with the body opportunity there. He was able to get that rebound without a lot of resistance. Jimmy Bell came over and then fouled him.
And Mohamed Wagee will check in.
Mohamed Wagee from Mount St. Mary's, Xavier Lipscomb.
A lot more basketball left to play for him. Bartone misses it, and Wagee rebounds. Mount St. Mary's 4 of 10 from the line.
And when you go into a hostile environment like they're in here in Morgantown, you can't afford to have 4 free throw shooting. Those are free points that you're not getting.
8 on the shot clock for Keedy Johnson. And another offensive foul to send it the other way.
Boy, that was a late call that time. Well, that's the 3rd offensive foul that McGee's had. That's something that they will work on in practice.
And so now West Virginia in a bit of a situation here, as you have 3 on Wagee and 3 on Bell.
Yep, he started to push inside, and they're going to call that.
That's interesting. Because what you could say is, moving a screen, I feel like he was trying to get into space, but correct me if I'm wrong.
No, he swallowed up the guard, and that was just enough.
Okay. 4 minutes into half number 2, Jalen Benjamin had a poke loose, deflected into the backcourt, and Eric Stevenson just picked up his 3rd.
Foul is called
on Xavier Lipscomb. So West Virginia got to be careful here. As we'll step aside, Mountaineers 35, Mount St. Mary's 22 on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
All All right, the Mountaineers with a 13-point lead over the Mountaineers. WVU in front, in case you are a little confused there. All right, well, you know, being successful on the court a lot of times starts with off-the-court activities like team bonding trips. Coach Engelstad told us that he likes to do a lot of trips with his guys. They've done Top Golf. And then something he really enjoyed was taking them out into nature. He said some of his guys have never just walked along a path. They jumped into a lake. They made a great day of it. And he said it was just a lot of fun. One thing that really made him laugh and made all of us giggle on the crew, he said that a lot of his guys were walking down the path and they saw what was dog scat, if that is the correct way to say it, and they thought it was bear scat, so they were all freaked out that it was a bear, but it was just dog. So it was just a lot of great stories that he was telling us, and just you could just tell that they just had a lot of fun as a team. And when you have that kind of team chemistry, it really shows in these games. Andrew.
Yeah, thank you, man. I mean, that's an excellent point, because we were speaking with Eric Stevenson for West Virginia, and he was lauding West Virginia's ability to hang out as a team with one another, which is, you know, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And maybe you have clicks, maybe you don't, but to not have that be a thing, extremely important. Now, when you reach moments of adversity.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, you find out about the guys off the court. You know what they are on the court, but, you know, it's important to know what they're like off the court.
Keedy Johnson with a nice play to get West Virginia in possession. And I think if it was a bear, you'd probably know.
A little bit difference in texture.
A little bit. Kobe. Emmett Matthews. We're going to take one contested. Nice shot from Emmett Matthews. He's got 5.
Emmett Matthews is going to bring so much more to this team than just scoring.
Another short opportunity.
Another rush shot.
Yep. Cordelia that time for Mount St. Mary's, but Emmett and Eric Stevenson just look more composed, but that's what happens when you're in your 4th and 5th year.
Exactly.
Keedy Johnson had it rejected by Bartone. Jalen Benjamin, not a fan favorite in Morgantown. Gets by Keedy Johnson. Tried the alley-oop to Cordelia, who converts that time. Coach Engelstad telling his players to get back, but he's ready to bring in 4 changes.
Yeah, he'll go 10 deep, which he has done up to this point, and he's just looking for any type of a spark right now.
Been a tough shooting night for Mount St. Mary's at just 22%. And late foul, and they will get Jalen Gibson for the trip on Emmett Matthews, whether he meant to or not.
Emmett just really taking his time. Looks so comfortable with that shot. He's another one that has been out doing a lot of extra shooting. Great to have him back again. And you know, he's one of 2 players that left the program and came back. Levi Phillips back early on went to Oklahoma State for a brief time and came back, and we think Emmett is the second guy that has done that.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where he played a season, that was the COVID season, foul away from the ball against Mount St. Mary's. They will get Jefferson for that one, as he will pick up his 3rd. One of those seasons where you play college basketball with no fans, with no family. They're on the other side of the country. You only see them every now and then, and you know, at a certain time, you need something else out of life. So it wasn't bad terms that he left on.
No.
Says he never should have left, and now he's back. So value in everything. Keedy Johnson trying to get some help from Okonkwo. Jump save, Kobe Johnson, but it's out of play. And James Okonkwo got a whack to the head going after that rebound. This will belong to Mount St. Mary's. 13:56 to go. Here in half number 2. The Mount just 1 of their last 7 from the field. Ooh, get Keedy Johnson for the reach in. There's contact. That'll be his 3rd. Big West Virginia's got some foul trouble here. If it wasn't evident enough already, that's Keedy with 3, Eric Stevenson with 3, Jimmy Bell with 3, Muhammad McGee with 3. That is not good.
No, thank goodness they do have a deep bench.
Yep.
The thing is, I think to a certain extent, a lot of times early on in the year, officials might call it a little tighter than they will once the season starts.
Yep.
Trying to let guys avoid bad habits.
Wide open slam dunk for Jefferson on the other end, 38-26.
Now, miscommunication by the Mountaineer defense.
This is Joe Toussaint. Okonkwo. Josiah Harris in the game for West Virginia, occupying that far corner. Matthews, beautiful. Mountaineer lead back to 14. He just looks smooth.
Yes, he does.
Tinsley, space down the middle. Finds the kick. That's a good pass to DeAndre Thomas. Another big bucket for Mount St. Mary's.
As I said, Thomas shoots 40% from 3. And now Bob Huggins wants a timeout to get things organized.
West Virginia has its lead cut from 15 to 11. Mount St. Mary's finally maybe getting hot. 3 of their last 3 before that, shooting 22%, Bake.
You didn't.
So
You
let's
didn't
look.
think that they were going to stay cold that long, and you know they've started hitting a few shots, and as we said, they've got some guys that can put it up.
All right, so again, this is a Mount St. Mary's team that has faced off against, you know, stiff competition, to say the least, to open things up. You go to Villanova last season. You go to Kentucky last year. So they scheduled these on purpose, and Coach Engelstad, for a reason, wants those challenges early on. But here's what they have coming up. Coppin State, McDaniel, USC, November 18th, and then Cal Poly and Pacific. So busy November for Mount St. Mary's. That Cal Poly game on ESPN+2.
Well, he said, you know, you got to play some games like West Virginia with the USCs, because if they get in the big dance later on, having that experience would be great.
Cash a few checks here and there.
Yeah.
Seth Wilson in the game for West Virginia. Finds Okonkwo, shot clock at 10. Toussaint. Gonna make a call here, Josiah Harris. Good jumper range. And Jefferson and Okonkwo tied up, no whistle.
Yep.
Maybe elect the no calls, the game moves on. LeFew down low to Tinsley. Matchup there with Wilson, who punches that one all the way to the backcourt. Okonkwo grabs it out of midair, took it away from Benjamin. Seth Wilson, bullet pass, Emmett Matthews.
Nice decision by Seth Wilson.
And that'll get the crowd back into it.
Big defensive play at one end and getting a layup at the other.
Jumper short, in stride, Toussaint in the air, Matthews! Big buckets for Emmett Matthews. An official welcome back. LeFew blocked by Okonkwo. And Emmett can't save it. It'll stay with Mount St. Mary's. He is back, and he is well liked at this point. 11:33 to go, second half. It is West Virginia 44, Mount St. Mary's 29. Emmett Matthews with 11 plus this gem. Welcome back inside the WVU Coliseum. West Virginia 44, Mount St. Mary's 29. Some distance being created by Emmett Matthews in his first game back in Morgantown. How about this rush for the Mountaineer returnee? He's had a nice game, babe.
He certainly has. Started off with a very relaxed 3. Then if you get out on me, I'll take it to the rack.
Now scoring will be the challenge for West Virginia this season. He'll provide some of that and some more insight on Emmett Matthews. Amanda Mazey is standing by.
Well, Andrew, of course, Emmett Matthews is a perfect example as to why you should never burn bridges. As Mountaineer fans know, he played 3 years here for WVU before leaving to play closer to home in Washington State last season. But now he's back, and Coach Huggins told me he's only had a couple of players leave and come back in his career, and those are guys who just quit. And Huggins allowed them to come back on the team, and that was when he was at Cincinnati. He says Emmett was a much different scenario because it was a family situation. And now that Emmett's back, the main focus for fans apparently is his hair. He had beautiful locks his first go around here, but he cut them off last season, and Huggs says that the question he gets asked the most is, what did he do to his hair? And Warren, Huggs was actually bragging on your locks back in the day when you guys played together, and he said that your locks, Warren, actually rivaled Emmett's hair pre-cut. Is this true?
No, Huggs, he can't see very well.
Well, this was maybe a few years ago.
I don't know, Bake. I did see your headshot from back in the day. It looked pretty good. It didn't have the bounce of Emmett's hair, and maybe he might have you on that. Well, big bucket for Mount St. Mary's as we came back in West Virginia. Couldn't get an answer. Jalen Benjamin now matched up with Josiah Harris.
It's a credit to their ball club. They're not going away.
No.
You know, they're staying close. It's still West Virginia in control, but
they're going to call a kick on Okonkwo. I think that had his foot there. But nonetheless, Mount St. Mary's possession. 20 on the shot clock put on. And yeah, you're right. I mean, not that they would roll over, but it's really up to West Virginia to make life difficult. And Toussaint will be called for the foul. That'll be his second.
Some type of disturbance over on the bench.
Yeah, well, we just had a technical foul called.
Eric Stevenson just got a technical foul.
And what happened was Joe Toussaint got hit in the face with a ball, whether or not that was intentional from Jalen Benjamin. Had a conversation about it with Eric Stevenson, and that's where we're at. So we can get a second look at it. The fourth team foul.
Eric Stevenson is a fiery guy now. You know, if anybody that's seen any of the practices, and I've been there numerous times, that's just the way the guy is.
Yep.
But you can't do it. You can't do it to the point where it hurts your ball club. And right now, that could hurt West Virginia.
Oh, you make a point, Bake. I mean, this is the first game for a reason, but let's see it again. So yeah, body to body there, and nothing in that. I mean, sure, the initial foul. You tell me, Bake.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary to stick the ball in his face right there.
Yeah, so really nothing intentional from either of those guys. Let's just compete.
Now, Stevenson's actions came after that.
Yep.
I don't know why he stuck his head into the huddle over there, but the official was standing right there and did not like what he heard.
Yeah. So West Virginia up 13, and we do have a look of Eric Stevenson getting into that pile a little later on.
Yeah, he goes back in, and he couldn't. Gary Maxwell's been one of the oldest and most experienced officials for years, and you know he's heard enough, and he's going to hit you with that.
I don't know if it was a word or just the fact that Eric was in the huddle.
No, I think it was the fact that he returned and went back into the huddle after things had calmed down. The one thing that concerns you about something like that is officials talk.
Yeah.
You don't want your guy to get a reputation to where guys want to have a quick trigger finger with him. Hey, if this guy blows off, hit him with a technical right away. That way, that's not what you need. And I'm sure Huggs is going to address that.
Yeah, so they get Toussaint for the second personal. That's what started it all. So let's get one final look at this. So ball goes into the face of Toussaint, and naturally responds to get the ball out of there. Okay, so everybody pulling each other back. Toussaint walks out of there. Stevenson heads into the huddle. I don't know.
Eric would have been better off just to keep walking toward the West Virginia bench.
Yeah. Well, to your point, Coach Huggins and Eric Stevenson, you know, life will be difficult for the Zebras. So now, you know, do we have anything change here? Because now our officials are going to talk things over with the scores table, or maybe just give them an explanation. I don't think they go back and take anything away. Gary Maxwell, Tyler Kumpf, and Steve Devine. But we are getting the official explanation at our scores table. And this is a lot for really something that wasn't that much, big.
No.
Well, let's work the kinks out now, I suppose, before we get into conference.
Well, exactly right. That's the type of thing in a conference play and a 1 or 2 point ball game that might be the difference.
Now, Coach Engelstad now doesn't like what he's hearing. So are we going to rescind something here? Are we going to equal them out? But they're still talking about the elbow, which to me, pretty innocuous. So,
well, in any event, it's going to be Eric Stevens' 4th foul.
Yeah, it will be Eric Stevens' 4th, but apparently we are getting a second technical. So here we go. Personal on Joe Toussaint. It'll be his second.
Technical foul has been whistled on Mount St. Mary's number 5.
Okay, they give Jalen Benjamin a technical. And they probably give Eric Stevenson a technical too. Oh, they just teed up Dan Engelstad.
Well, Gary Maxwell with a short fuse tonight.
On the Mount St. Mary's bench. And a technical foul has been whistled on West Virginia's number 10.
Yeah. So 3 T's make Jalen Benjamin officially Mount St. Mary's bench and Eric Stevenson. It's a lot. It's a lot for a little. Benjamin hits his first. Benjamin again here. Made them both. So if you just tuned in, West Virginia up 11 in this game, had a foul against Joe Toussaint, and then had 3 technical fouls. 2 to Mount St. Mary's and 1 to West Virginia.
Number 3, Trey Mitchell.
So now Trey Mitchell shoots free throws for West Virginia. So we had a big old development here. It was something very little, and Mitchell will get a second opportunity. Mountaineers in this game from the line. There's 2 of 4, make that 3 of 5. And should be West Virginia possession, Bake, if I know my basketball well enough. Believe that it is. All right, let's get back to the basketball. Toussaint to Okonkwo. Josiah Harris, Trey Mitchell. Out here for West Virginia, along with Seth Wilson. Let's see who captures this moment, Bake. There was a lull in it, so who capitalizes?
West Virginia seemed to have everything really going for them with that spurt by Emmett Matthews.
Air ball from Toussaint. Yeah, but the lull favors Mount St. Mary's, and they get a foul as Bartone went up. Toussaint and Okonkwo were there.
I think they got the foul. Okonkwo, the fact that he came down with his arm.
Well, they get Toussaint for the foul. He was in the hands.
Oh, was it Toussaint they called the foul on? Okay. I thought they called. It wouldn't have surprised me to see him call it on James because he did follow through with the arm.
Yep. Either one you can understand. Well, Mount St. Mary's is about to bring this game to 10, Bake. Bartone can't. Trey Mitchell grabs the board. Mountaineers run the set. And they will get Jalen Benjamin for the call away from the play. He's trying to stop Wilson on his peel.
You know, here's where composure and it's tough to do when you're in heat of battle. But the officials are going to call it right now. You can find yourself picking up a lot of fouls quickly because these guys don't want this game to get out of control. So what might not have been a foul in the first half might be a foul here because they want to keep this thing under control.
True, solid point. West Virginia already with 10 plus against them. 6th foul against Mount St. Mary's. So next one puts West Virginia in the bonus. 15 on the shot clock. Past the halfway mark of half number 2. Toussaint pulls up, tough shot, bouncing, slammed in. Trey Mitchell with a hot foul. Mountaineers need big plays like that. Offensive foul.
2 big back-to-back plays by Trey Mitchell.
Offensive foul with the Mount St. Mary's.
And you know, we didn't see him in the charity exhibition against Bowling Green. I'll tell you what, might be West Virginia's impact player down the line.
Oh, my.
What a scoop. But again, shows the depth that West Virginia has because the multiple sequences in this game, it's belonged to single individuals, really.
Right.
Mitchell looks off his defender, in and out. DeAndre Thomas, guarded there by Josiah Harris. He got to get it over. Keedy Johnson, no, that was Toussaint getting after it. Frees it up for Mitchell. Josiah Harris fouled.
The hustle by West Virginia at half court set that whole thing up. That's what you got to see. You got to have that.
We'll get Cordelia for his 3rd foul. Good composure from Mitchell. And Harris wanted all of that one. So Josiah Harris will look for his first points of the game. Mount St. Mary's without a field goal in the last 2.5 minutes.
Benjamin and Barton checking for Mount St. Mary's.
Bartone and Benjamin back in for Mount St. Mary's. Lipscomb and Cordelia out. One of 2 for Josiah Harris.
Lead back to 14.
Mountaineers have not cleared that 20-point mark yet. Would love to get there. Jefferson leading the way for Mount St. Mary's. He's got 8. Thomas, offensive foul to send it the other way. And for Jefferson, that'll be his 4th. A lot of offensive fouls.
See, that's a call that I think in the middle of the year, had we not had what happened earlier, that probably is not a foul.
And Cordelia will re-enter. 3 turnovers in the last minute 40 for Mount St. Mary's. At the 8:28 mark of our 2nd half. Toussaint. Wilson calls Harris high. Trey Mitchell fakes. Gets the foul on Bartone. It's a big body, Bake.
Yes, he is. Can score it from anywhere.
And he'll go to the line to shoot 2. That's the 10th. Against Mount St. Mary's. So Trey Mitchell in this game with 6 points. He's 2 of 4 from the field. Second trip to the free throw line, and he is now 2 of 3. Trey Mitchell again going to Texas last season. Started 17 of 24. 9 points per game, 4 rebounds per game.
Eric Stevenson, after a little while on the bench, back in the ball game. Hugs wants to keep him in the fold. He's really struggled tonight for the most part.
Yep. Eric Stevenson just 4 points And 4 fouls plus the technical. Well, you might as well use him, right?
Yes. Well, you're going to have him, so.
Yep. Tucson called for the foul again on Jalen Benjamin. 7:55 to go, half number 2. It is West Virginia up 16, 50-34 against the opposing Mountaineers. You're watching Big 12 now on ESPN+. Plus. .755 remains in half number 2. It's the Mountaineers 50, the Mountaineers 34. Andrew Baker with you. I mean, we had a real lull in the game, Big, because of that technical foul situation. Yeah. So what do you want to see from these next 8 minutes?
Composure, you know, and still play hard. But you've got to keep, you know, you can't be doing something that is going to cause another issue in the game. Play good, hard, nose basketball, but play it the right way.
For West Virginia, Big, we had a couple of moments for a couple of players. Emmett Matthews with 11 leads the team. Trey Mitchell now has 8. Seth Wilson with 7. And Mohamed Wagee with 6. Those guys have really not impacted the second half all that much. But again, this is recipes for West Virginia.
That's exactly right. And they've all had their moments. There were times when the guys that you just mentioned had, you know, very, very impactful things in the game. And that's what's going to happen now. You know, Eric Stevenson struggling tonight after the Bowling Green scrimmage, the charity game. Everybody was, oh man, what a guy. Well, he's having a little trouble tonight. So and that's the way it's going to be. But somebody has to be ready to step up.
And you look at this Mount St. Mary's team, you know, would not want to duplicate this shooting performance again. They're just shooting 26% in this game. Might be able to claw their way in through field goals, as Joe Toussaint was called for the last foul against West Virginia. And Benjamin hits his first. That'll give him 8 points. Tough night shooting for him. He is just 1 of 8, but is now 5 of 7 from the free throw line. And he gets them both.
That's a cold start from Mount St. Mary. Certainly didn't help them. They missed a lot of easy shots in that first half.
Yeah.
Took them forever to get on track, you know, with the basket inside.
Yep, they really did. And if they were to make some of those easy shots, we would have a much closer game.
Certainly would.
Josiah Harris. 3-pointer, no good. Big board. Wagee scores, and he's back out there with 8.
Mohamed Wagee.
Tell you what, Jalen Benjamin has not slowed down, Big.
No.
Credit to this kid. He wants it. He has got it.
That's a big time shot. That wasn't bad defense. I mean, he just made a very, very good shot.
Now West Virginia has to answer back, and Mount St. Mary's needs a stop. They'll get him for a foul instead at the 7:02 mark. 2 free throws coming up for Mohamed Wagee. Mo is 0 for 1 from the line. Mountaineers ready to reintroduce Emmett Matthews. That one looked good.
Yep. That last shot that Josiah Harris shot was the first time that I've seen him shoot this year when he did not have any type of rhythm at all. That was kind of just a herky-jerky shot. He's a great shooter, and you know, he'll sit down and think about that and come back.
Yeah, just the freshman. Tinsley is in. Bartone is out. Malik Jefferson is also re-entered for Mount St. Mary's. And he has 4 personal fouls, so eye on him. In and out from Wagee. 7 minutes to go. LeFew had it picked by Mitchell. Matthews, Mitchell all the way.
Trey Mitchell.
A good D matchup there by West Virginia. Keedy Johnson is back on Jalen Benjamin. Keedy has 3 personal fouls. And that's tough, because that just changed to 4.
Keedy Johnson called for personal.
Wow.
His 4th.
The clock stopping at 6:27. Here's West Virginia's bucket the other way.
Emmett Matthews recognizing exactly where the ball needed to go. Caught Mitchell coming down the middle for an easy layup.
Kobe Johnson set to check back in for West Virginia after the first free throw, but Benjamin misses. So again, Bake, Mount St. Mary's 12 of 44 in this game, and a lot of, probably must make buckets. And then they're also 9 of 17 from the free throw line.
Now,
1 of 2 for Jalen Benjamin. He's now got 13 in the game to lead all scorers. Kobe Johnson in. Opens up, and he scores it.
I'm glad to see Trey Mitchell. Boy, court awareness. He recognized that backdoor cut. Pass was right on the money.
And Trey Mitchell is out there for maybe more than we thought we'd see him.
Yes.
Another tough shot from Jalen Benjamin. He's almost single-handedly keeping his team in this game right now, Big. So,
and he got off to any kind of start at all, this thing would be much closer.
Stevenson kind of slipped, stays with it, too much. A late blocking call against Jalen Benjamin. That'll be his 4th, and Stevenson will shoot with 5:42 to go here in half number 2.
Mount St. Mary's foul call to number 5, Jalen Benjamin. His 4th.
Franta Bartone is coming up soon for Mount St. Mary's. West Virginia as a team, 7 for 11 from the free throw line. First one off the front of the rim. Again, a rare miss and a rare night really for Eric Stevenson.
Yes, it is.
98% free throw shooter, South Carolina. Gets that one. 58-42, Mountaineers by 16. Here in our season opener for West Virginia and Mount St. Mary's. LeFew, got it. Trends here for Mount St. Mary's, 4 of their last 4 falling in. West Virginia has been able to answer there 3 of their last 3.
Boy, that was good ball move by Mount St. Mary's. West Virginia kept trapping and switching up. They recognized the play and found the open man.
That's even with Jalen Benjamin on the bench right now. Mitchell, Matthews, back to Trey Mitchell, Pittsburgh native. Fades away too much, good board opportunity. And that was blocked by Bartoon. Wagee after it toughly. Possession stays with the Mountaineers. Stevenson trying to force things here. Mitchell, Trey Mitchell. I tell you what, Bake, if this is 85%, 100's going to be nice for West Virginia.
For a guy who has not seen the court for ages.
Yes.
I mean, a little bit of practice, but that's been it.
13 points for Mitchell, and Wagee lost it.
It's one of those ones, how am I going to throw this down?
Yes.
Should I tomahawk it? Should I? And then he also heard footsteps because Jefferson was trying to track him down. He'll hear about that from the guys later on tonight.
Once the W is secured, Bake. But Wagee has had an excellent game. 9 points. In his collegiate debut, bad foul for Mitchell. And contact there at the end by Emmett Matthews. 4:17 to go, half number 2. West Virginia 61, Mount St. Mary's 45, and really, teams have been trading baskets back and forth in late stages of the second half. Matthews gave a fist pump to Jalen Gibson at the end of it. No harm in that. Gibson hits the first.
You know, I read Jalen Gibson had a dunk on television that was the ESPN dunk, play of the night.
Oh, yeah.
You know how they have the top 10? He had a dunk last year, and that was the top play.
Mount St. Mary's keeps it alive. Mitchell turned it over. Benjamin. High arcing bank. 61-49.
Will not go away.
No. 18 for Benjamin. Third team preseason MAAC. Get him up there on that list. 3:48 to go. Eric Stevenson. Yes. There's the West Virginia answer, babe.
Yep, it is. No hesitation either.
A few. Another one for Mount St. Mary's over the top of Eric Stevenson. That is three-pointer number 9 for Mount St. Mary's.
Boy, give Coach Engelstadt's team a lot of credit. They had a number of times where they could have folded and just haven't done it.
64-52. Mount St. Mary's with 6 threes in the second half. 3-on-1. Benjamin all the way, left it short. Stevenson fighting for the rebound. It's going to stay with Mount St. Mary's with 2:58 to go. Crunch time for both of these teams, but it's Jalen Benjamin single-handedly keeping the Mountaineers, the visitors, in this game. Check out this one. I'm sure he meant to bake it. And another one. This time, LaFew. Tough team. Back after this on ESPN+. West Virginia 64, Mount St. Mary's 52. Jalen Benjamin, I'll tell you what, Bake, I mean, the kid has had a game, 18 points, and he's just turned it up recently. He's only 4 of 12 shooting, but his last 3 field goal attempts, especially in the second half, tough shots.
Well, yeah, you know, West Virginia didn't give him any good looks in the first half. But that's, you know, good players. When the light shines brightly, they come up, and he's done exactly that.
5'10", 160. Check out this one. Emma Matthews can't defend any better. Man, I mean, what can you say? Now he assists.
Yep.
And that's the closest that Mount St. Mary's has been, really, in this second half. Because points are even in half number 2, 34-34. So we're exactly where we were at halftime. The only problem is time might be against Mount St. Mary's here with 2:58 to go. Mount St. Mary's, we know, will keep the pressure on until the end. Mountaineers, West Virginia that is. Trey Mitchell, Joe Toussaint, Eric Stevenson, Muhammad Wagee, and Emmett Matthews. Guys that have earned the trust of Coach Huggs to this point. That time no good for Benjamin. Tip back towards the rim, loose underneath. Possession West Virginia. Last touched by Jalen Gibson. Multiple scenarios here, Bake, where we get, tough, oof.
Yes. You're right, Will. Token pressure. I thought Mount St. Mary's would come with a little more pressure than they did.
Yep, they can press late.
You know, West Virginia, no trouble getting the ball across half court.
Good guard play out here for the Mountaineers. 10 on the shot clock. Stevenson. Foul underneath. Otherwise, that was another turnover.
Yeah.
A lot of contact as the Washingtonians, Stevenson and Matthews, come together. Free throws coming up. Who do they get on that foul? Malik Jefferson, that'll be his 5th, and he's done.
Jefferson.
So Jefferson finishes 8 points, 7 rebounds. Nice shift, but gave away some bad fouls in the offensive zone for his team.
Well, and he had really difficult shooting time in the first half.
Yeah. So Tinsley, LaFew, Bartone, Gibson, and Jalen Benjamin are out here. West Virginia holding Mount St. Mary's to just 31% shooting. And West Virginia has shot 46%.
Emmett Matthews to the line, 2 shots.
For West Virginia, you go down the other end now on defense. No stupid fouls, no reaches, make them earn anything that they get, but you don't want to stick them on the foul line.
76% free throw shooter. Emmett Matthews is starting his 99th career game. 124 in his pocket now. And he gets them both. 66-52. It's a 30-18 game at halftime. West Virginia has increased its point total in half number 2. Limited time left, 2:15 remains. Contact there, Matthews and Stevenson. And LeFew scores. Toussaint double teamed here. Needs to show some escapability there, and he's fouled instead. They'll get Tinsley.
It's a shame that he did foul him because they had Toussaint in trouble just now.
And somehow, some way, that is just the first foul of the game against Tinsley. In a game that has seen many. So this has been a second half where West Virginia and Mount St. Mary's have just been in a gritty game. Toussaint hits the first, but for West Virginia, Bake, 21 fouls against West Virginia, 22 fouls against Mount St. Mary's.
Well, Bob Huggins talked early on about how tough the non-conference schedule is going to be. And this is a game that, West Virginia is going to win this game, but still, this is a very, very good challenge for the Mountaineers early on. And the rest of the non-conference schedule is going to be very difficult. Having to go to Portland, Oregon, and do some other things, so that'll get them ready for Big 12 play.
And we'll get that foul on the ground against Wagee. So 2 to shoot nonetheless for Tinsley. Basket would not count. 1:46 to go. Well, Bake, we are closing in on the end of things here. Good and bad for both.
Well, if you're Mount St. Mary's, you're probably a little upset with the way you started because the shooting was there and the easy ones they missed inside. But you got to like the fight that they didn't quit. And for West Virginia, when they needed somebody to step up, they had different guys step up. That's good to see.
Mount St. Mary's shot just 21% in that first half. Mountaineers up 68-55. Wagee chases that one down. Stevenson escapes. He'll make that every time. They give him that space. Stevenson with 10 now. He's in double figures. And Wagee got a piece of it. 1:06 to go. The Washington connection.
That brought the house up.
Turnover forced by West Virginia. Toussaint the other way. Joe Toussaint scores. And that'll do it. West Virginia up 19. Their largest lead of the game comes with 50 seconds to go. The alley-oop from Stevenson to Emmett Matthews. The bucket from Toussaint and a big triple on the other end from Gibson. 74 to 58, 43 seconds to go and a timeout called by Mount St. Mary's. We will keep it here. These are guys that played AAU together, played in middle school together, a little bit of high school. That is good stuff.
Boy, those spurts like that can really, really take the starch out of the team. Mount St. Mary's was still hanging around. They were there. Not that they were going to win the ball game, but it could have been very easily end up being an 8, 10, 12-point ball game, and it still may. But that takes the starch out of you when a team comes down and gets 3 or 4 baskets like that.
Yeah.
Especially one that brings the cover off the building.
Yeah, strong finish for WVU too, because This could have been a game that kind of finished, you know, trading free throws, trading this,
Sure.
trading that. And that was enough to maybe not make it back. Mountaineers as a team shooting 49%, and Mount St. Mary's just 33%. And as this one comes to a close, let's check out West Virginia's upcoming schedule. Some non-conference stuff. How about that? Big backyard brawl.
Wow.
Friday. Morehead State, Penn, and then over to Portland, the Eric Stevenson and Emmett Matthews territory, in a way, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. I'll be ready to play on Friday. It won't help us much, but I'll be ready to go.
You know what, Bake, I'd say that they could use your help, but board-wise, West Virginia has had a nice job. 44 rebounds as a team.
Nice job handling that pressure.
Double team comes with a handiwork from Toussaint. Shot clock at 15. Maybe last possession of the game for West Virginia. Rebounding advantage was 44 to 28 Mountaineers. This is clutch shooting in the final stages though, Bake, for West Virginia. 5 of their last 5, but we have seen positive trends towards the end of it.
Joe Toussaint at the line for West Virginia.
Yeah, a lot, you know, some of those were the layups that they were able to get, but nevertheless.
Mountaineers shooting 58% in half number 2. So that is that's good. Both made. 76 to 58. Tinsley. Lipscomb. McGee forces the miss. 9 seconds to go. No quit.
Joe Toussaint trying to pick up a cheap foul.
West Virginia victorious in its opener, 76 to 58. Mountaineers get 15 from Emmett Matthews, 13 from Trey Mitchell, 10 from Eric Stevenson. Bake, your final thoughts on this one?
I think Hugs has to be happy with the way that a number of different players stepped up at different times in the game. I think that would be the thing.
So that's going to do it. From Morgantown, West Virginia, 76. Mount St. Mary's, 58. A lot of toughness, a lot of energy for this West Virginia group. For Warren Baker, Amanda Mazey, and our entire production crew, including our director, Eva Buckman, and our game producer, Chuck Scatterday. I'm Andrew Caridi. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.